Now we're gonna paint the ladybug with acrylics. Okay, so I'm gonna use red. I'm using the ones in the tube. Red, I'm gonna add a tiny bit of orange. White. And black. And yellow. I forgot the yellow, so I just had to go get the yellow. And yellow. Okay, so just a recap of the watercolor, the gouache one, and now we're going to do acrylics. So I haven't changed my water yet. I still only have the two brushes, a round one and a flat one. I'm going to start with the round one, the one with the weird bristles that doesn't want to stick together, which is fine. And I am starting with some red. I'm gonna make my little red dot over here so you guys can see the difference. Red sometimes tend to be a little pinkish. So now I can decide if I want to paint around my dots or if I want to go over them. The flat brush helps me to paint smooth, so it shouldn't dry with any well, a lot of bumps. It should dry fairly smooth. I am touching my paint water a few times because painting on paper with acrylic, it kind of sucks it in a little bit quicker so it dries. So we want to be mindful that that can happen. I'm using the same techniques, pointing my brush to the side and fill in as I go so there's no bumps and no outlines. Dragging my paintbrush, getting a crisp edge. Now it does not matter to paint next to this one if it's wet because look, nothing happens. Okay, so this is pure red, or let me just double check. Primary red, there you go. And I'm just painting it, making sure that the edge of my bug is, you know, the line is nice and crisp. Okay, so this is my first layer. Now I can always add a little bit of the orange because I kind of like that the ladybug is a little bit more orangey red. So I can just go ahead and paint it on top, and look how I am changing. Oh, I totally say I missed that spot. I'll go. I totally love how I can immediately see how it's still blending with the red to become a little bit more orangey red. And now we have an ice cream van. I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna go with my orange over it. Can you guys see how we're changing the color? It's really intense and really dark. I like it. I like that. Okay. Okay, so first layer of my ladybug is in. I'm gonna clean my brush so I can show you guys just a orange line. Boom. Okay. I'm not gonna worry so much about that line for now. I know I need to fix it, but for now it's good. I wanna have like, I'm gonna mix this over here so you guys can see the difference. I wanna now add the light areas, but I'm scared if I do a lot of white, it can change it into like a pastel peachy kind of pink that I may not really want. So I'm gonna make a little mixture of my orange, like right here, and I'm going to add some yellow to make it light. So your yellow orange ratio should be more yellow than orange, a little like that. And I'm gonna touch a small amount of white to make it a little lighter. I don't make big puddles. I always try to mix color small and contained, so I don't sit with like this big and lose all my colors. So I always try to go really soft. Okay, hopefully my acrylic is still a little bit wet. So now I want to come and add, okay, let me add this line and this one. Also, your ladybugs doesn't have to look exactly the same. I'm going to switch to a different brush. I'm going to switch to my round one so I can make a circle idea. I can always add a tiny white in the middle, and I'm gonna do one over here, my light color, and a small one over here. So again, you want to make sure that you paint the circle first. It's like then you need to blend it in, and then you need to come back and make it the middle point a little whiter. So kind of the same with the gouache. Make it a little more blendy. Go into your orange, red, orange, red, orange, orange, red, and you can blend it in by painting. So now we don't want to use water. We need to use actual paint to blend in. If yours is just getting all the same color, you may need to wait a moment for it to dry. Sometimes if everything is just mixing the whole time and you feel you are getting frustrated, it's because you just need to wait a moment for it to dry. If your dots, this little highlight spots become bigger, again, let it dry and wait for it. I'm gonna come back with only this light color. I'm gonna mix it with some of the orange. Making sure I add to my highlight spots. Clean your brush a few times. Making sure you want to get rid of that drop of water that always accumulates over here, even if it means you have to do that and then come back and touch your water again. I totally lost this little one. This one can be a little bit bigger, I feel. I'm gonna come with my light color and I'm just and then with my orange and my red color. So now I don't really want to switch between, I don't want to wash my brush because I want to get that color mixing. And I just go switch, and you may have to do this a few times until you feel happy. I know, Tony. My dog is so anxious. Okay. And touchy, 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 touchy instead of just painting is also really helpful. Okay. Now I'm gonna paint in between. So I'm just gonna clean my brush. I'm painting with a round brush now. I'm filling this in. And mixing some of that yellow, light color, orangey yellow color that we have. And I'm gonna paint some lines like that. Again, putting your hand down makes easy to get crisp lines. So I'm gonna do that for now. Maybe I wanna go up here. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna leave that. Cleaning again. So now when I go to the black, let's see how I can see the black. If it's too stiff, I want to say, then make a little puddle next to it with your water to get your paint a little runny. So I'll just add a little bit of water. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just like tap, 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 tap. So I have this nice point, and I'm adding legs. If you make it too runny, it's going to be not black. So I just made a little too runny, but it's okay. I'm just going to come back over it. So I'm going to do my first layer. And I'm just gonna visit everyone. Again, if I put my hand down and I just let my fingers do the work. I can get the smoother lines that doesn't become too thick. So I may have to come back again, but putting my hand down, making sure my lines stay skinny. But exactly the same way as the gouache, I can paint and then come back afterwards and add the highlights. I don't have to keep them in mind. And dragging it across to get a smooth line. So I'm just filling it in. Okay, so then I'm gonna just wash my brush to get rid of the, because if the acrylic paint dries, it's really difficult to paint nice and smooth. So I'm gonna let that wash it off. Do this, but then I'm gonna come back again, mix, 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 so it's easy to paint, because I want to get it really smooth. So I'm gonna paint another layer. I may have to wait for it to dry a little bit. Yeah, maybe. And these are things that you will figure out and you will feel it as you paint. Like on a warmer day, things may dry quicker. On a cooler day, things may take a while. And I'm just gonna revisit to make sure my blacks are black. It's easier to get the second layer down if the first one is dry. And the cool thing is about acrylics, you can go over it and over it. Okay, this I feel is good. So I'm gonna paint my heart shape. Again, if it's hard for you to paint this bottom one, go from the other side and make. So I'm going to show you just the black. It's not, I mean, what kind of brand is this? Oh, it's the basics, Liquid Basics. Ooh. Sometimes I think I prefer this orders you go and you cannot get anymore, or I don't know where to get them. I love them. And filling in black spots. Oh, let me just check this one to see again where I did the black spots. Like, oh, I can still see some of my lines. One over here. this one and this one. It should be dry, so it will be easy to paint over it. And this one. And the two at the bottom. So if the buildup on your brush, I don't know if it will zoom in, gets too much, I like to just clean it and then start again. But while I have this black paint on, I'm just going to see if I can paint this a little bit more so it's really solid. I want to lift it up so you can see it's a little, you can't really see, it's a little shinier. Okay, then we need to add the highlight spots on the black. I think I'm just gonna wait. You know what, I just saw I didn't paint that little triangle shape right there, so I'm just gonna I missed it. So the cool thing is about any paint, it's paint, you can go back and you can add. With watercolor, you are just going to see every single layer you do. Okay. So I can also make this a little bit darker. I can use what I call, I don't know if it's even really the correct term, is to make a wash, where you take your paint, your acrylics, and make it act as if it's watercolor. So I'm just gonna make my black a little exactly what I did with the gouache, kind of. But because the acrylics is dry, I can kind of come back and I can just wash it over, hence the word wash. You can just add a little like this, and then exactly like the watercolor, you can just kind of move it. So you can totally blend it like I did with some of the white. If you are new to blending color, then sometimes a wash helps, because you don't need to blend, because sometimes it can get really mucky quickly. So this is like a easy way to do, to add some shadows if you want to do a little wash over it in your blackish color. And look, I'm just changing a little bit the background, so it's not just plain red. Make sure that your acrylic background is dry when you do this, so you don't blend and mix it. I just want to make a pretty straight line. I think I made one like that. So wash works really well. And then of course, again with some watercolor, some water on my brush. It's because I do these all together. I'm like, what? I'm gonna make a black line in the middle. Then mixing yellow and black. And you can paint these little spots. Maybe even add some white. So you can see yellow and black makes this color. I'm gonna add some white a little bit, and I'm gonna fill in the eyes or whatever this is. I don't really know. Pointing my brush to get the smooth line. Maybe add a drop of water because it's getting a little difficult to mix it. Also give some to this. Maybe these are the eyes. I don't know. So they're really dark. Cleaning my brush and make sure I get that extra drop, and I'm going to take white, and from the other side I am blending them. Very little paint on my brush. I only have a little bit of paint on the tip of my brush. I don't want to scoop any paint. The less paint you have, the easier the blending is. Okay. So now I wanna I need to paint the black at the top. Let's do the white first because I want to add black. Okay, let's do the white first. I'm gonna do some white, and I'm adding a line exactly like I did with the gouache. I'm gonna do this for this big spot, another line right there, a spot over there. Don't even think I did these spots on the sides on the watercolor one, but all good. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of leave them like that. Come back with black. You see the black? Come back with black. And make your circle around smaller. And smaller. So very little paint on my paintbrush. And sometimes instead of trying to paint, if you touch, and then you just wanna keep on like going back and forth to get sure that you can blend it really well. I'm gonna make my line a little bit skinnier and add some details to my legs. So a few highlights here and there. And the last thing is the antennas. I forgot to paint those. So I'm just gonna come back. Again, the paint is drying quicker, and on paper it kind of sucks it in a little bit quicker. So if you need to add a few drops of water with it, go ahead and do that. It just helps. And put your hand down for that skinny line. And then I may want to just add like a little line on the back to show his body. And totally fine. I just saw that I missed a little spot like right there. And it's cool because you can just always fill it in. Cleaning your brush really well. Go into your wash again. Mix, mix, mix. So this is what I say that's easy. It's like you can just activate it with water and boom. Done. Like done, done, done. Where these, if I don't use them, they're just gonna dry and I have to throw it away. So that's kind of the difference between acrylics and gouache and watercolor. So I used yellow, yeah, these are the 3 ladybirds.